Hello interwebs, how are you doing? I'm doing well. I am here on my Shaman because I wanted to show you the current unit frames that I am using. The unit frames that you see on my screen are called Elvui, which is a full UI replacement for World of Warcraft. Other than that, the only add-ons that I have is an add-on that takes my mail out of my mailbox all at once called Easy Mail, and my little companion over here, and then you'll see my mouse trail is all fancy pants and that is called _cursor. But today I'm going to show you how to set up Elvui on a brand new character because it can be kind of tricky if it's your first time ever using something like this. Once you have actually set it up one time, it's really easy because you can just go to profiles and click copy from and then choose a profile, and then it'll just automatically copy it over. And then there's a couple things you may have to customize per individual character, but for the most part you really only have to set it up once, and with this quick video you shouldn't be able to do it in like 5 minutes because it's not that hard, I swear. I'm kind of derpy and I can do it, so yeah, let's get right into it, okay? Okay. So here we are on my druid, who, as you can see, I have not set up the bars at all. They're crazy, they are all messed up, and it looks very overwhelming, but this is what it's going to look like when you first install Elvui. There's this little process which I think everybody should do at least one time. So let's just continue through this. And for the installation process that's World of Warcraft, it's recommended. Set up, okay, continue. Set up chat, continue. What do we got? Pixel perfect. You want to enable pixel perfect because it makes the borders around all the frames like 1 pixel instead of 3 pixels, and it also makes the whole add-on run a little bit better. So you enable that, continue. I choose the class for this one. It makes your like own frame the color of whatever class you are. That's all it is. Continue. This sets your resolution, so I'm going to go with the high resolution, but it depends on your graphical settings and what your computer can handle. Continue. Then it asks you what kind of class you play. In this case, this is a balanced druid, so I click caster DPS, continue, and then it says the type of aura system you would like. We're going to want the integrated, continue, and finished. So we're going to let this do its quick reload. Now don't freak out because it's still not done. It still looks crazy. You're still probably a little bit concerned. This little dealio right here, this is going to come up every single time you come on unless you click disable and hide. It's kind of annoying, so I turn it off. But now I'm going to show you how to set it up to look like my shamans did. So let's move recount. Recount is eventually going to be over here, so we're just going to set it over here for the time being. So to access Elvui, you type /Elvui, enter, and then it's going to bring you to this, and I'm going to go through and just show you all of the settings that I have on my shaman so that you can copy it. Then well, you don't have to copy it. You can obviously customize it any way you want, but if you want yours to look like my shaman's, I'm going to show you how to make that happen. But what's really nice about Elvui is everything is so customizable that you can set anything to pretty much however you want it to be. So for me, I have the Pixel Perfect enabled, I have Announce Interrupts off, and I have Auto Repair set so that it automatically will use my daily guild allotted amount of money to repair me. What's nice about auto repair is anytime you go somewhere that you can repair, it just automatically repairs you. You don't actually have to click anything. Then I have it set to vendor graze automatically, and I also have the loot roll and the loot disabled because I don't really like the way the Elvui skins it, but again, that is up to you if you want to try it, and if you like it, that's great. If you don't like it, all you have to do is uncheck loot and loot roll and it'll bring you back to the classic Blizzard. Pretty much all of these are just skins. I don't prefer the bottom panel myself. We want the auto scale. I do not like the auto scale either. So no to this, no to this. Yes to tiny map. I do not automatically accept invites because I get invites all the time. I disabled the loot. I enabled the chat button. Disabled the bottom panel. Enabled the vendor graze. Disabled, everything else. So then I changed the location text on the minimap to always display. That way, see how it says Ogrimmar Rear Gate right here? That's all that does. Really easy. I mean, this is this is your XP bar, which I have this disabled on my shaman because my shaman is 90. Obviously, if you are not 90 yet, you may want to have your XP bar on, and you can set it to show your current experience, and then in comparison to what the maximum amount for that level is, you can show your percent, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to set it to that, or you could do current and max, which looks like that. It's really all up to you. I actually prefer it to have no text on it, and then you just see the bar, because I just like it that way. I don't know. It's just preference, guys. It's just whatever you like. I have the reputation bar disabled on all of my characters because I don't know. I guess I'm not that big into rep grinding, so I can always like just hit C and look at the reputation tab. Threat I do have enabled. I have it aligned to my right chat, and I have my totem bar disabled because there's really no such thing as a totem bar anymore. Then we're going to move into the media tab, and I have all of my fonts set to Elvui pixel. My combat text also Elvui pixel. Pretty much anywhere that it says font, I have it set to Elvui pixel. And again, this is a preference. You guys can pick whatever font you want. I like this font because it kind of reminds me of the Razor font. Then pretty much everything else you can leave as it is. The primary texture, the secondary texture, they should be on minimalist. But again, if you want it to be one of these other things, it's your prerogative, man. It's your prerogative. So let's move on to action bars now. Now, if you remember on my shaman, I had a bar going up and down here, and then I had my bag bar going up and down here, and then I had all my other bars in the middle. And then I had my micro bar over here where this guy is. So pretty much everything is super messed up right now. My micro bar, first of all, you want to enable that, and then I have it set to 1 button per row. As you can see, that makes it vertical. We're just going to leave it there for now because we're going to move everything afterwards, not right now. So don't freak out that it doesn't look right just yet. Now you want bars 1 through 4 to be identical. And the way that they're going to look is you're going to no backdrop, no mouse over. You're going to have it anchored to the bottom left with 12 buttons per row, a 32 button size with 2 button spacing. So pretty much all default. Like you really don't have to do much of anything, which is really nice. Then you go to bar 2, and the only thing you want is bar 1 will have this little, you don't change that. You want that to be the way it is. But bars 2, 3, and 4 won't have that, as you see, but you still want them to all be the same. So enable, no backdrop, 12, 12, 32, 2. So that's all good. 3, C3, we need to move that up to 12, and we move that up to 12. And 2, 32, that's good. No backdrop, that's good. Bar 4, get rid of the backdrop. Buttons per row, we want that to 12, and as you can see, there was a bar right there, it's gone now. Everything else looks good. Now bar 5 is the up and down bar that was next to my chat bar, so this one is going to be different. Now you want it to have 5 buttons, so move that over 1, and then you only want to allow 1 button per row, which is what's going to make it vertical. Now the button size is actually going to be a little different on this because I have my button size set to be the same as my bags. So rather than being 32, we change that to 30, and the button spacing is actually going to be at 5, I believe. 4, 5? Let me, hold on, let me just double check here. Bags, bag bar, enable, spacing 4. Haha, I knew it. So we want the spacing to be 4, and that's all you do for that. Now the pet bar, I do not have that enabled because my druid doesn't have like a pet that you have to control. Same thing with my shaman. But as you've seen, the way that you do this is really not too difficult. You would just kind of do it the same way you do enable. And I have everything anchored to the bottom left because that's just how I have it, I guess. But I don't, like I said, I don't have that enabled right now. But if I did, I would set it up to look exactly like my other bars. Or you can make it miniature. You can do it really however you want. It's pretty easy peasy, it is. So I have it disabled though. Now my stance bar I have disabled on my shaman, but I do need that on my druid, and that's what's over here. And again, we're going to anchor that to the bottom left instead of the top left. And then buttons 10, buttons per row 10. Not that that really matters because I don't have 10 stances per se, but that looks good to me. I will move that when we get moving everything else. And then as far as cooldown text, you can leave that default, but you definitely want that. The cooldown text is one of the best features of Elvui in my opinion. So now we're going to move down to the bags tab, and we can minimize this action bar tab when we go to the bags tab. You definitely want your bags enabled, and you can change this however you want, but the button size, that's just how big the buttons are in your bag. You can sort it inverted so that it's upside down, or you can sort it normal. That's totally up to you. I have my bag bar enabled with my button size as 30 and my button spacing as 4, and then you want to make sure that's vertical, not horizontal, and ascending is fine. You can do it descending, it doesn't matter. That just determines what order your bags are in, but it doesn't really matter because it'll open all your bags anyways, so who cares. Now we're moving on to buffs and debuffs, and for the buffs and debuffs tab, I disable the consolidated buffs down here, just because it's not something, see on my mini map, watch it, bam. I don't prefer that. I just want all of my buffs to show. I'm not a raid leader, so I am not in charge of anything that you need that. If you were leading raids regularly, having this on, what that'll do is that'll show you which buffs are active of all of the class buffs. But I play solo a lot, so that just kind of clutters up my screen, so I don't like it. Other than that, I leave everything exactly the way it is default. Now, as far as we go to chat, what's nice about the chat is that it automatically has your URL links so that you can copy them. You can pretty much do anything. I usually take off the chat history, but this is really all preference to you. I also take off the emoticon icons because they look a little weird. But again, the only thing you might want to change is down here you can change the font, and I changed it to Elvui Pixel. No outline, tab font, Elvui Pixel, because I like all my fonts to be the same. But again, that's your preference. It's not anything that you have to do or are required to do. It's just what you like. Going into the data text tab, you want everything checked except for 24-hour time, unless you want 24-hour time. And again, this is all preference for you. So if you want to change something, you totally can. Again, I changed all the fonts to Elvui Pixel, and if you saw that, changed this little guy down here. Now what I have on my screen right now on my shaman is I have my mini map left is set to the time. See, that's that right there. Then my mini map right is set to system. And then the font needs to be made a little bit smaller because it's kind of too big the way it is, so I have it set to size 10 so that it all fits on the map. Then my right chat, which is down here, which unfortunately this bar is covering so you can't see it, but trust me, I have it this way on my shaman. I have my right chat set to durability, and then the middle is gold, which as you log on every character, it will show your gold server wide. And then on the far right of the right chat, I have my bags, which shows your open bag space. Then as far as the left chat goes, I have my guild first, and this will tell you how many people are on your guild. Then in the middle, I have my friends, which will show me how many people are on in my friends list. And then on the right, I chose to have my spec shown, mostly because I didn't know what to put there, and I kind of thought it looked cool with the spec. But again, everything is really preferential. Make it look however you want it to look. This is totally just showing you how my shaman is, but that's certainly not the only way to do it. As far as nameplates goes, I have everything set to default. That is your preference. You might want to make sure that your fonts all match, but again, that's up to you. Then I go to skins. I have everything checked for the skin because you kind of want everything to look the same. Well, I want everything to look the same. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. But what this does is it skins everything to look like it matches. So when you open your interface, like when you go escape interface, like all your menus, and you'll see as you have the add-on, if you have everything checked, it'll make everything look like it's all goes together and matches. Going into the tooltip tab, you want your anchor mode to be smart, and you want it to never hide. And then I have everything checked except combat, but again, this is all default. You don't really have to change it. The unit frames is where things get really crazy. So I have logged back over onto my shaman so that I could show you my unit frames. My unit frames would be, here is my player frame and here is my target frame, and I didn't write down how I did that, so I wanted to make sure I got it right when I showed it to you. So got off of my druid, got onto my shaman. So yeah, here we go. Without further ado, again, to access Elvui, it's just /Elvui. And then we're going to go to the unit frames tab. Now I have a lot of these disabled just because of my playstyle. A lot of them are not necessary, but player frame is obviously the most important one. I have my player frame set to a width of 173 and a height of 54. I also have heal prediction on, and I have the rest icon on. Now here is where things get kind of crazy. The first tab on the drop down menu is health. I have health positioned to my bottom left. And if you want to copy this, what it says is bracket health color, which is one word, no spaces, bracket bracket health colon current dash percent bracket, and there's no spaces in there at all. This should be what comes up by default though, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about that. The next thing you're going to go to is power. This enables an actual power bar, so you're going to want to hit enabled. I have the width set to filled. I don't really know what spaced does, so I guess you could experiment with that if you wanted to. I have it set to filled, and I have it on a height of 10 with an offset of 0. The position is set to bottom right, and the format is bracket power color bracket power colon current bracket. And again, I do believe that is the default, so you shouldn't have to worry about changing it. Now I know for a fact that this is not default. The name I had to physically put in myself. I positioned it to the top, and just as a tip, the way that I got this text here without having to type it all in manually is this is the same text that was on the target. So if you go to target and then you go to name, what you can do is you can highlight all of it and then hit Control C, go back to player frame, hit Control V, and then it's there. So that's how I got my name there. Next, we're going to go to PvP. I have that positioned in the bottom. I believe the text format is what will be there by default, so I'm not going to read that all to you because I know for a fact I didn't type that in. The next thing I had to manually enable was portrait. I have my portrait set to a width of 45 with a camera scale of 1, and I have the style set to 3D. You can also set it to 2D, but when you could have 3D, come on, who wants one less D? No one. No one wants one less D. The next thing you're going to want to go to is buffs. Now I have my buffs completely disabled. I feel like they take up way too much of the screen, and they come up here in this corner anyways, so to me it doesn't seem completely necessary to get into having them above my bar as well. So I have them disabled, so you don't have to do anything there. Then you go to debuffs. I do have my debuffs enabled with 8 per row, 1 number of rows, 0 as a size override, 0 as my X offset, 0 as my Y offset. You want to attach that to the frame with an anchor point of top left and a font size of 10. Again, I do believe everything there is default. The only thing that might not be default is the attach to frame and the anchor point top left. So those might be the only things you need to change. I have my cast bar enabled, and you want to click match frame width because that will automatically make it the same width, which is really nice. And then I have it set for the latency so that it will like, it's called like a lag indicator, I think. And then I have it set on the remaining as far as format, and yeah, I'm pretty sure this might also be default, so you shouldn't have to change much there either. Then you go to your class bar. I have that enabled. The next thing you can go to is aura bars. I have aura bars disabled. I think they take up way too much room, and again, your auras appear up in the top corner with your buffs anyways, so it seems kind of unnecessary to have them show twice. I have vengeance disabled, and then my raid icon is enabled. Then we go down to the target frame, and I believe I have my target frame set almost identical. So when you go to health, health is at the bottom left, power is enabled, position to the bottom right. Then you go to name. That is the default. I have it positioned to the top. The top might not be the default position, but the text is definitely default. Then you go to portrait. I have the portrait enabled, 3D with the width of 45, nothing fancy, nothing special. Then you're gonna go to buffs. I have buffs disabled. There may be some instances like PvP where you want to see their buffs. For the most part, it's not like super important to me. I feel like it clutters up the screen. Generally, I am just running around doing quests or doing things solo. So for my playstyle, they are not necessary to have. But again, this is all preference. If you want them enabled, you just click the enable button and start messing with it until you like it. Then you can go to your debuffs. I have the debuffs enabled so that I can see when my debuffs are expiring on them. I have them attached to the frame with an anchor point of the top right. And everything else is default. Like, I didn't change any of those. Then you get to the cast bar. I have the cast bar enabled. You want to match the width frame. Then you want to go to combo bar. I have that enabled. Aura bars, I have those disabled. Again, I think they just take up too much space. What are you gonna do? I don't know. And then I have the raid icon enabled. Then you go to your target frame, and I have pretty much everything turned off because I think it's just The only thing you really need to know is what they're targeting. Again, I am not a super hardcore raider or a hardcore PvPer, so if you want these things, the option is there for you to turn them on. I'm not saying that you have to keep them turned off. I'm just saying this is how I have it. I have that set to a width of 130 with a height of 36, and then you go to health. I have my health set to the right, and I have my power enabled. I have their name in the center. Buffs are disabled, debuffs are enabled, and the raid icon is enabled. I have the focus frame. I have this disabled, as you can see. I have the focus target frame disabled. I have the pet frame enabled, although I don't have a pet to show you. I have the pet frame identical to the target frame, just as far as size and height and stuff. I don't have the pet target frame enabled. Arena frames are enabled, everything is default. Boss frames are enabled, everything is default. Assist frames are enabled, everything default. Party, 10-man, 25-man, 40-man. I have the tank frames disabled because I am not a healer, so I don't need them. If you are a healer, you should definitely have those enabled, or else you're probably going to be doing it wrong. But that is what all of those things are going to look like once you have it set up in a manner similar to my shaman. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go back over to my shaman now. I'm going to go back over to my druid now. I'm going to copy my shaman's preferences onto my druid for the ones I didn't set up, and then I'm going to show you how to move everything around to get it in the position that you want. Alright, so we are back here on my druid, and like I said, I didn't have the unit frames set up as I should, but what's nice is I can just do, I was hoping I could do this one at a time, but I'm going to copy my profile over from Panzershock. And now, this moved everything, but it's actually, that is the easiest part of everything. Once you've set everything up like I just explained to you, you click on toggle anchors, and then you change this from general to all, and then it's super, super simple. All you do is take what you want and drag it, and say it's not getting quite close enough, you can just use these little arrows to move them around. It's super simple. So I have a little bit of space here because I generally have this pony walking on my chat bar, but you can literally move anything you want, and then you put it there, and I can't get close enough, this is terrible. No, it's really easy. What's nice about this is it gives you the X and Y values, so you can make sure they are all perfectly aligned. It's got the grid, which is really nice, but like I said, it is super easy once you have everything all set up like I just told you, to just move everything and put it where you want it, really. I mean, this is all preference of what works best for you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You can just move this. One of the things I did want to move is my stance bar is in kind of an odd place, so I'm going to move my stance bar to down here. And I have my X should be, well, the X is not going to be 0 because it's off to one side, but it looks like it lines up really well, so I'm just going to move down the Y so that it's touching. That was really easy. Your boss button is one that you definitely want to know where it is, but all in all, this is just, you just move things to where you want them to be. It's all preference. I mean, nobody can tell you how it would be right or wrong because it's totally up to you as to how you want it to look. Once you're happy with where everything is, you hit lock and you have it here. One of the things I did do is it'll automatically put your loot and trade here, which I don't like. So what I did was I closed the window, and then I moved my DPS meter, which I use recount, and I put that here. And what's nice is if you go into the settings of recount and you go to color and you go to title, and you move this all the way to the bottom, and then you move this all the way to the bottom, then it goes all nicey nice. See how nice that is? And then you can hit OK, and then you can do your title text, because as you can see, this is orange, so if you want it to match, you can go to like this orangey color, and then you have to move this back. Oh, no, we're on the wrong cancel. Title text, and you want to make that like orange, like an orangey, like that color. Okay, and see, that'll make that match. And what's nice is you can also go to when you sing, it's helpful. All you want to do is, in my opinion, it's nice when all of your fonts match. So I just changed the font to Elvui Pixel. Then we're all done. That's all I really wanted to do. So we click lock window, it makes that all go away, and yeah, that's what you look like when you're all set up. One of the first things that I had trouble with on Elvui that I was really quickly able to solve with Google was how to set up your key bindings. And it's really simple. You just type enter/KB, enter, and then all you do is hover your mouse over wherever you want. You type whatever you want the keybind to be, and then you hit save. Super simple. And then another thing that I couldn't figure out for the longest time was how to access my calendar. It's super easy. All you do is right click on the time and your calendar comes up. To be honest with you guys, if you set up this UI and you find yourself having any questions or being confused, I found out everything I know about this just by Googling literally, like, how do you turn off the aura bars in Elvui? I guarantee any question that you have, someone has had before, they've asked it in a forum and it's been answered. So don't be afraid to Google something if you can't figure it out. And if you do install this add-on and you enjoy it, let me know, leave me a comment. You can upload a video response and show me how you set it up, or if you want to just upload a screenshot to my Facebook, that's all linked below. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you enjoy this add-on. I also hope that you have a great day, and I love you all. You're in my heart, so I'll see you soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye!